It was the story of Robert Brooks, who seemed like a family man who liked golf and fancy vacations from the outside. The 50-year-old man from Hertford had a successful business, no criminal record, and taught people how to drive on the side. Behind the curtains, Brooks was the leader of a £58 million drug crime ring that sent about 1.8 tons of Class A drugs to sellers all over the nations over almost 10 months. Border police found 45 kilograms of heroin camouflaged in spider catchers on a truck coming from Holland. This is how his cartel came to light. Even though police arrested 2 of his friends, including his right-hand man, and found 70 more kilograms of cocaine on its way to Brooks's business, he was still living the high life because they didn't have enough proof to show he was involved. It was the largest drug plot in Hertfordshire's history, and the Eastern Region's Special Operations Unit's time, based on the quantity of drugs that were brought into the country. There was a lot of stress, and the cops were watching to figure out who would give up first. Finally, the drugs' sophistication and ability to fly under the radar were found out, and all 4 members were given prison terms of more than 50 years. But how was everything taking place? Initially, police were first told that 45 kilograms of heroin had been sent over from Holland. The police recognized it was a break, so they had 24 hours to think of a way to trick the crooks into thinking everything was fine. So they chose the option of sending the drugs where they were supposed to go. Since the plan was very dangerous and the detectives were under a lot of pressure, they decided to put cameras and mics all over the van to catch the cartel's members in the act. One of the first problems was that the drugs were being sent to a house on the farm in Hudson, Hertfordshire, but the cops didn't know which of the 7 houses they were searching for. From the beginning, security teams monitored the delivery truck, and police were stationed around the farm, ready to attack whenever the officer in charge called them. As the drugs came in, the cops found a place that looked like it was getting drugs. Now was their chance. Strike! 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 The plan worked just fine. It was clear that Richard Campbell, who was then 49, and Thomas Wozniak, who was around 29, were guilty, and they were putting drugs into a car. But the work hadn't even begun yet because a company called Happy Day Campers, whose owner is named Robert Brooks, was taking the space. Brooks was also linked to the crime spot by the fact that his own car, which had his license inside, was in the building when it was searched. As the cops looked into the operation more, it became clear right away that it was just a front for drug trafficking. Campbell and Wozniak were the only ones involved during the operation. The illegal drugs had been transported to a Mini Cooper. Officers were lucky that when they searched Campbell, they discovered an encrypted phone. These phones can cost up to £15,000 and are often used by thieves for their work. But earlier this year, French cops were able to hack into the service and shut down thousands of criminal groups. But Campbell's phone was open, and it was easy to see proof of how big the plot was and who else was part of it. Campbell spoke with someone named Jaguar Palace. It was clear that the person acting under the code identity was in charge of the group, and police thought that person might be in Spain. The chat additionally revealed that Jaguar Palace charged different crime groups between £15,000 and £20,000 for each shipment. The next important piece of proof was Brooks' car, which was in the garage at the moment of the raid. This made officers doubt he was engaged. After that, authorities investigated Campbell's house and found £5,000. His wife also told the police that Brooks was his boss and that he was on vacation in Spain at the time. The cops were looking for this link, and then they started looking into Brooks' Jaguar Palace. Dave, one of the main officers working on the case, told that he thought Brooks was the criminal syndicate leader from the beginning. The cops had always been set on bashing up the entire gang. They looked into Brooks' background and didn't detain him or talk to him again for months after the first drug bust. Brooks had a house in Alicante, Spain, and loved living the high life. He took a vacation there once a month, either with his family or by himself. He also took vacations in America and other places around the globe. But this raised a red flag for cops because he owned Happy Day Campers, which they saw as a dying business that made no money. It was obvious that the company was a front for the drug plot. The cops needed more though. The next step was to put Brooks in jail, but they had to do it appropriately, and even though they had a lot of proof against him, it wasn't strong enough. However, it was his own blunder that got him 21 years in prison. Police think he used a red Ford to teach people how to drive. He put a dash cam in it and recorded 24 hours a day. When the police found the video, it had important proof that showed his involvement in the cartel. The police were shocked to find that the device's only video recordings were from August 14th and 15th, 2019, which showed drugs being delivered. The video showed Brooks on the day of the delivery and also the fourth gang member that the cops did not know about before. Dave, a top investigating officer from Hertford, said, "They were very smart and working at a very high level. They weren't sure they were going to get caught after a while because it had become normal for them. Even though they may not have broken it, the CCTV in the room was broken. When it comes to the dashcam in the car, I'm still astonished that Brooke was so dumb as to record when someone took the drugs from the unit. Through his complacency and stupidity, he recorded in HD for us, the conspiracy in action, and it was a real breakthrough moment for us." Dashcam video showed that Stephen Capp came back after delivery to pick up the goods, and it also showed that Brooks was in that unit when that occurred. So his first story in the interview, that he wasn't involved, is much less likely to work as a defense in court because we have proof that he was in that unit when Capp was getting more drugs. It was a very important moment for us. Stephen Capp was not known for most of the probe. Police say that Capp was only caught because Brooks was stupid and didn't care what happened. Even though he had never been in trouble with the law before, it was clear that he was involved when dashcam video showed his Audi being backed into a garage soon after delivering drugs. In the show, police tracked Capp back to a vacation home where he lived with his partner. This made people even more curious about why a drugs runner for a £58 million gang would be living in a caravan-style home. People had seen him bring drugs and money all over the country. Since he was a transporter and spent most of his time on the road, the cops thought it was both a risky and a smart move. Police hit him on the M25 in Hollywood in December of last year. Police can't seem to locate the drugs in the car. A full search of the car seems to turn up no drugs, but then the cops find a secret compartment inside the car where the drugs are kept from being found. In December 2019, he was caught on the M25 with 5 kilograms of cocaine in his car. After Capp was caught, Brooks was also caught and the whole group was sent to prison for more than 50 years. At St. Albans Crown Court, Brooks got 21 years in prison. He admitted guilty to conspiracy to falsely avoid the law against bringing in Class A controlled drugs like heroin and cocaine and to have stolen property. Campbell went to prison for 13 years and 6 months and Wozniak went to prison for 6 years and 3 months. Both men are from Waterside, Milton Keynes. Sure, here's a corrected version. This was all about the case in which a British driving instructor became an international drug trafficker. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment behind, and we'll see you in the next video.